Hello. Here at the Non-Judging Breakfast Pod, we like to keep things light. However, sometimes the show, and therefore our recaps, touch on some serious topics. This episode contains discussion about sexual assault. We avoid getting into any graphic detail, however we understand that this is a sensitive topic for many people. Additionally, if you or a loved one has been a victim of sexual violence, or may be a victim of sexual violence, the National Sexual Assault Hotline can be a valuable resource. They offer 24/7 live chat and other information. Just visit www.rainn.org. That's RAIN with 2 N's.org. They also have a phone hotline at 1-800-656-4673. Hey, Upper East Siders and all you scandal-loving listeners out there. You just tuned into the Non-Judging Breakfast Pod, where the coffee is strong, the waffles are fresh, and the gossip is hotter than ever. My name is Leif, and I'm your seasoned Gossip Girl veteran.
And I'm Steve. I'm the newbie, the greenhorn, I don't know, Leif, what do we call the Season 2 Gossip Girl newbie?
Do I really have to keep coming up with these? I thought second season seniors got a free pass.
I'm sorry, but as long as these new teachers keep showing up, your new quips are going to need to keep showing up.
All right, then.
So here's the deal, folks. Leif has been watching Gossip Girl since the beginning, and I'm tuning in for the very first time. And together, we are your dynamic duo, bringing you all of the drama, romance, and sometimes questionable fashion choices of this iconic 2007 series.
That's right. Each week, we'll be taking a deep dive into the show, one episode at a time. We'll analyze all the hidden parallels and obscure references. Plus, we'll also be touching on all the behind-the-scenes gossip and some stories from fandom.
And since we are all about inclusivity here at the Non-Judging Breakfast Pod, there is always room for you at the Non-Judging Breakfast table. So go ahead and grab your coffee, a mimosa, or some of Nate and Chuck's special medicine, and let's go ahead and get into this.
Sounds good. And this episode will be releasing on December 2nd, so happy birthday to Steve.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and hopefully everyone had a very nice Thanksgiving if you celebrated in your country. I know we do have a lot of international listeners lately.
Yeah, that's and welcome from around the world. We're really happy to have you, and we really appreciate the listen.
Please write in and interact with us.
Yeah, tell us about where you live and how Gossip Girl is received in where you are.
And of course, if you really, really like us, you can subscribe to our Patreon, where you can support the podcast for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/nonjudgingbreakfastpod.
And that Patreon also can lead to fun stuff like watch parties with Leif and I, where we'll watch different movies and shows that these cast members are in. So definitely join that Patreon and help us out and be a part of it.
So today we are here to talk about Season 2, Episode 16, You've Got Yale. It was originally aired on January 19th, 2009, and of course the title is a reference to the movie with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, You've Got Mail.
Sleepless in Seattle. Oh, that's right. No, the other one.
The one where he's a stalker.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't see it because I've seen like pieces of You've Got Mail. I never watched the whole thing because I just felt like it looked like Sleepless in Seattle again. Wasn't it even the same director too?
It might have been. It's definitely a funny movie. You got a young Dave Chappelle in there as his friend, but the whole concept is kind of creepy because he's basically like talking to her online and learning things about her, but then also as someone else, and then flirting with her in real life as himself.
Oh, yeah. See, yeah, I never saw it. And like, oh, haha, such romantic, like the rom-coms of the early internet. Like, isn't this cute? No, that's criminal.
Yeah.
It's adorable.
It's not criminal, but it's definitely weird and manipulative.
Yeah. It's definitely creepy.
Yeah. Episode was written by our buddy Josh Safran. This is his 4th of 5 episodes this season. This season, he's also done 201, Summer Kind of Wonderful, Episode 6, New Haven Can Wait, and The Magnificent Archibalds.
I found the writing in this to be better than it has been lately. I actually had notes about the writing, that there were maybe a couple little things, but there were a lot of things that I really liked about it in this episode.
And it's just like, this is also now the second Yale episode that he's done, because he did the one where they actually go to Yale.
Yeah.
So I kind of looked up his biography. He didn't actually go to Yale. He actually graduated from the Tisch program at NYU.
Oh, okay.
But he was born in New Haven.
Oh, so he's grew up around this area.
Yes.
So that does make a lot of sense. Well, and also New Haven Can't Wait. New Haven Can Wait was also a good episode.
That was a very fun episode.
Yeah, I really liked it a lot. So I do feel like Josh Safran has some good episodes.
And he is the de facto showrunner at this point.
Oh, is he? Okay, yeah. That and it reads in this episode. It reads like it was almost like when Joss Whedon directs an episode of Buffy, that major consequential things happening.
Episode was directed by Janice Cook. This is her second of 3 episodes this season. So the first one she did was 203, The Dark Knight.
Which one was The Dark Knight?
That was with the power outage.
Okay.
Which I thought was a much better directed episode than this one.
Yeah.
This one, I thought the directing was not great in this one, actually.
Okay. I didn't think the directing stood out in this one.
Or maybe not the directing, but the editing of certain scenes was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Out of order.
Yeah. Especially later in the episode.
Yeah. Why don't you go give us the Vulture recap?
So here is the Vulture recap. Gossip Girl ebbs and flows, and after last week's tsunami of plot lines, this week's episode ebb meant we got to see some of them through. Dan and Serena, thrown back together with the tide, seemed jaded as they talked lifelessly about their Faulknerian situation. Meanwhile, their parents, Lily and Rufus, were also back together and acted like the season 1 version of the teenagers. All public makeout sessions and fraught talk of their different worlds. Jack, having run his course, had to be disposed of. His attempted rape of Lily, filmed with gritty handheld camera and containing an oddly lingering shot of him grabbing his own crotch, was the dramatic pinnacle of the pinnacle of the episode that was made all the more exciting by the rumors last week, surely planted, that Lily may be killed off. Next up is a plotline that looks like it might be ripped from the headlines, a budding forbidden romance between Rachel, a comely young literature teacher from Des Moines, and lonely lit boy Dan. Ideally, this will end with Dan selling his body for the 1922 version of Ulysses. Plus, more pointless Yale mishigas. We pretty much know they're all going to end up at the same school anyway, and a kinder, gentler Chuck.
Yeah, the Chuck glow up continues.
Yeah, he's such a sympathetic character right now that even when he is his fucking worst right now, you're still like, oh.
Let's get into the episode. Act 1 begins. Gossip Girl narrates. True love and betrayal, revenge, and more revenge. A heroine with an impossible goal. If only Mozart had lived on the Upper East Side, but you can't keep the magic flute, Amadeus. All this queen wants is a golden ticket to Yale.
I loved that Harold and, forgetting his name,
Ramon.
I love that Harold and Ramon were there for Blair. And it was funny. I almost thought that they would be in the episode, but it was just this, yay, it's Yale Day cameo, and I thought it was adorable. The other big note from this is, oh, great, Dorota now gets to take care of a dog, too.
Yeah, this episode does open with Harold and Ramon, and they are back in town to give Blair support while waiting for the word on Yale admissions. Blair reiterates that she is done with Chuck.
Yeah, he's as dead to me as his dad. Cold. Burn. Cold.
A burn. Then we get Dan/Penn slips Serena/Blake some tongue as he arrives at the penthouse. They are also waiting to hear from Yale. Dan is worried for himself, and Serena is worried that she will get in and Blair won't.
Valid. valid fear.
Yeah. So I did go back and rewatch the kiss the second time, and there was definitely some tongue there.
Yeah. Yeah, they're as of right now, they're feeling okay about things. Okay-ish, almost.
Yeah. Dan and Serena catch Rufus try to sneak out unseen, and things get super awkward. After the kids run off, Lily invites Rufus to his first big society event. Then Eric comes into the kitchen and finds them kissing and drops the line of the episode.
Poor Eric.
I would say get a room, but your room is right above mine.
Please remember that.
I will.
He's so, like, first of all, I believe at this point Eric has got to be my favorite character. And I feel weird saying that because there's no danger in loving Eric, because Eric is the most lovable person on this show.
He's not really even a main character.
Yeah. But every time he's on, gold. His lines are gold. Usually it's something a lot more deep and meaningful, and he's being the adult of the show. But this, again, even then, he is kind of being the adult of the show. So, also, I love how when Rufus takes the pivot from, like, getting a full 8 hours of sleep, she's like, well, we're going to go to the opera. Make it a full 12 hours.
Jack and Chuck have a round of verbal sparring. Chuck is clearly not giving up on taking back Bass Industries. It also sounds like Jack is doing a shit job of running the company, but he still managed to come out ahead in this war of words.
Yeah, ew. They're just disgusting. The entire first part of the conversation is just disgusting.
Also, did Chuck catch hepatitis while in Thailand? Because his skin was looking very yellow.
It's possible. Along with whatever else he caught in Thailand.
Dan and Serena arrive at school and meet Serena's new favorite, and as Dan points out, young teacher, Miss Carr. Not sure how someone so inexperienced got a job at their top prep school.
Yeah, a top prep school. I don't think I could get a job there with 16 years of glowing experience.
You would have to have connections to get a job there.
Yeah. Also, you're a brand new teacher at a brand new school. Did they not warn you about flirting with students? This first conversation you're having with Dan, you're like, ooh, and like talking about what? I forget what it was that they shared, but they definitely shared a flirty moment that it was that Robin and
they shared the whole class thing.
Yeah, that's right.
These students are like, so they won't hold the door for someone, so they're just assholes.
And I'm over in Brooklyn. Oh, that's the other side of the bridge, right? You'll fit in just fine here. But that little banter, it's like, this was a little flirty. Yeah. And
of course, I mean, she does look younger than him.
Yeah, I looked it up. She is 4 years older than the actor is 4 years older than Blake Lively, and 3 years older than Penn Badgley. So that 4 years, technically, she could have just graduated, and gotten the job right out of college, which is what she kind of insinuates.
Yeah, it's her first paying job.
Yeah.
We get a quick scene of Blair, minions in tow, entering school. Blair is forcing them to refresh her email and see if the message from Yale arrived. However, Nellie seems to be still hoping to get into Yale herself.
Yeah. Kind of a non-scene, kind of a exposition.
Although it is interesting that Blair is kind of re-reined in the minions now.
Yeah,
now
well, she needs
them.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of that scene, I think.
Yeah. They're still hers,
Yeah. Nate and Dan are walking in the halls, and Nate is fishing for advice on taking Vanessa to the opera in his family's box. Dan gets an alert on his phone that gives him an excited face, but the scene cuts before we find out the news.
I really liked the Nate and Dan again. You know how I feel about Nate.
What's a Clockwork Orange?
Yeah.
And Nate and Dan just kind of looks down and shakes his head.
Yeah, and I love how Nate has the huge smile on his face afterwards too. Like, I'm gonna smile like I get why you're not like.
Or was that just bad acting by Chase because he actually does know what it is?
Yeah,
he's laughing at the character.
Yeah, and because that was what I couldn't gather is because he delivers the "What's a Clockwork Orange" and then he's laughing, and almost is like he knew what A Clockwork Orange is, but he clearly didn't the way he said it the first time. And so I'm going to...
Yeah, was that Chase just breaking character?
Yeah, that's what it seemed like.
Chuck goes to ask Lily for help with his Jack problem.
I loved it. I loved that Chuck was like, I have this thing. I know that there's an avenue to solve it. Going to the person I don't want to see.
Serena, Blair, and the minions are in the courtyard when Serena and Blair get messages from Yale. Serena got in, but Blair is waitlisted.
Nellie is feeling herself now. Nellie is really...
It's in bold letters. You were waitlisted.
Yeah. Nellie is playing with fire at this point.
We'll see.
I want a spinoff of Nellie today being the most successful of all of them.
Dan rushes up to celebrate getting into Yale with Serena, but Serena lies and says she was also waitlisted.
Yeah.
I get it.
I did. I thought that it was fair for Serena to not want to put that out there yet. Because she, not only for the Blair thing, but she was no longer convinced that that's what she wanted. Yeah. You could kind of see that. I know that conversation happens later, but you could see that turning in.
Well, I think you really see it when she gets the phone call and she realizes, I mean, she kind of already knew, but she fully realizes the reason why she got in.
Yeah, exactly.
So that is the end of the first act. We ended with a narration from Gossip Girl. They say it's not over until the fat lady sings, but who's that I hear tuning up in the wings? Sorry, B, I think it's curtains. And we move into Act 2. Chuck is still meeting with Lily, discussing his failed juvenile plans to take down Jack. Lily agrees to help and asks Chuck to move back in.
I thought that was sweet. The scene was really sweet. I also thought that Chuck was completely justified to get upset at the end. This is where it ends with her on the phone with Rufus, right?
No.
Or is that later?
That's later.
Oh, okay. I just love this team up, though.
Yeah. Although, so I'm confused on Chuck's plan. So if Jack hypothetically did sleep with the trans prostitute, how is that going to get Chuck back to company? So we already found out he doesn't have the morality clause.
Yeah.
Only for Chuck.
Yeah.
So how does that help him?
I feel like it is just one of those shock things that the writers throw in there to make it seem scandalous. Keep in mind, this was how long after when did the Eddie Murphy prostitute happen? Because that was huge news and really made... And there was someone else, wasn't there? Didn't Hugh Grant also get caught with a trans prostitute?
No, I think it was just an ugly prostitute.
Oh, okay.
And everyone's like, you cheated on Elizabeth Hurley with her?
But I wonder if it felt like it was a embarrassment thing.
Yeah.
And in 2009, there was a different stigma around it than there would be today. But yeah, it wouldn't cost him his job necessarily.
Blair is whining to the headmistress about not getting into Yale. The headmistress reveals that another female student got in ahead of her. Of course, because of Serena's earlier lie, Blair assumes it's Nellie.
Dan Humphrey, he's like a cafeteria lady that won the lottery. There's no way he's letting go of this.
Yeah. You couldn't pry that acceptance from him with his life.
I will say, from the first time she appeared until now, Headmistress Queller has started to grow on me as...
Oh, that's a different actress.
What's that?
It's a different actress. Pretty sure.
Is it? Oh. I felt that as an educator, she was a little bit more believable in this episode. Instead of the whole, like, I'm going to suspend the whole class kind of attitude, that it was right up to when she's done with Blair and Blair walks out of the room and she's up against her door with the sigh of being done dealing with Blair. It really struck a chord with me as a former teacher, because I've had those interactions and I've had that. I really empathized with her as a teacher in this episode.
Serena is talking to Miss Carr, who seems to genuinely care about Serena's future and is giving solid advice.
This is when I looked up how old she was. It was good advice, and she's serving as a good mentor. It's a shame she's going to steal her boyfriend.
Yeah. Blair shows up and gets handed her assignment since she missed first period. Miss Carr exits. Blair and Serena discuss Blair's witch hunt of Nellie. Blair is being extra cunty towards Serena and Dan. However, before Serena can retort, Blair sees her grade and storms off.
I'll be stuck with all the other financial idiots.
Serena gets a call from Dean Barabay's office asking for permission to release the information about Serena coming to Yale. Serena says she'll have to call her back.
And like you said earlier, this is when she has the conversation of, I don't know if this is really what I want, and then have it thrown right in her face. We want you here because of your name and your status.
Mm-hmm.
And Serena already kind of knew that, but for them to then say it again after not accepting Blair, I felt that was too much for Serena, especially since Serena had already tried to pull the strings to get Blair in.
Yeah.
That should have been a non-issue based on the things she already did. So Serena has every right to be mad about this too.
Lily is meeting with the board member from last week who states they would love to have Lily in charge, but that their hands are tied. Jack enters and gets creepy with Lily.
Yeah. I loved how much of a rock Lily is to Jack. The whole episode, even in the worst scenario, Lily is a fucking rock and does not cede an inch to him without being physically moved.
Yeah.
And it's just, it just drives home the strength of that character, who she's always been. And she's always been an admirable person in her strength, not in her parenting, but in her strength and in her demeanor. She's always very admirable. And this whole episode really made me
take
feel
charge.
That. Yeah.
Blair goes after Miss Carr for the grade, demanding the standard free pass offered to second semester seniors. Miss Carr refuses to budge.
She grabs a teacher and starts forcing her down the hallway. In what world?
Yeah. Blair was horrible this episode.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny, Blair was horrible this whole episode. I also felt like it was a return to season 1 Blair. I felt like her scheming was a little bit more, it was a little better written. I felt like Blair was better written, even if she was an asshole throughout this whole episode. And in what world is she not getting suspended for grabbing a teacher like that? If a student,
she's bullying a teacher.
She's bullying a teacher who isn't having it.
Yeah. Blair runs crying to Serena, stating that she just lost Yale. And we go to a commercial break and come back. Lily and Chuck are searching for ideas to take down Jack. They're having a nice moment until Lily takes a call from Rufus. Chuck has a predictable reaction before leaving.
Getting Jack on Megan's list. If only his apartment were a few blocks closer to a playground. That's fucked.
Yeah.
Not that Jack doesn't necessarily deserve it, because Jack is a sexual predator for sure.
Yeah.
So it's not unjustified.
Yeah.
And Chuck was completely justified. It is too soon, Lily. It is too soon to take your new boyfriend to the opera.
Yeah.
It's too soon.
But Lily does what Lily wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, I was just praising Lily for not giving a fuck, and that's Lily.
Yep. Serena, while talking to Dan, catches Blair making plans to haze Miss Carr. Serena tells Blair that she doesn't have to because Serena turned down the acceptance, and now Blair will get in.
Calling her Rachel really bothers me, too. I've had students that try to call me Steve, and it was always, I'm not your friend. I'm your teacher. I can't be your friend. You can call me Marshawn. You don't have to call me Mr. Marshawn. They can call me Marshawn, but I'm not Steve to you guys.
Inappropriate all around.
Inappropriate relationships.
We finally get a Natessa scene walking in the park. Nate is about to invite Vanessa to the opera in his family box seats when Vanessa beats him to the punch and invites him to her nosebleed seats.
We've been doing so many Archibaldi things, so I bought you tickets to the opera. More Archibaldi things.
No, because it's established she is a big opera fan.
Oh, okay. I didn't catch that.
And the scene with Nate and Dan earlier when they're talking about the ring.
Okay. Oh, is that?
That's an opera, yeah.
Oh,
the ring cycle.
I thought the ring. I did not understand how it was related to the ring. the movie where you watch a movie and then you die 5 days later.
No, this is that Kurt Wagner's The Ring Cycle.
Oh yeah, I did not know that. I don't know Wagner that well.
Which is kind of interesting that a person of color would be into that particular opera.
Yeah, well, yeah, especially and Wagner in general. When I got married, the rabbi said to us, "You can play Here Comes the Bride if you want to, but being that Hitler was such a gigantic fan of Wagner, we tend to not play it in synagogues." And we were like, we don't need that. We had Andre sing us down the aisle instead.
Yeah, there you go. At the loft, Eric is helping Rufus with his Opera for Dummies book while Jenny looks on bemused.
It was great. I love you, Eric.
But unfortunately, that Jenny looking on was her one contribution to this episode.
Yeah.
She was basically a non-entity.
Yeah. That happens a lot, though. Jenny, when there's big stuff like this, they often write Jenny out. But it's weird to see more Eric than Jenny in an episode.
Penelope and Iz are literally playing the devil and angel on Blair's shoulders. However, Iz's half-hearted effort as the angel leads to Blair deciding to haze Miss Carr after all.
Yeah, this is Blair's worst move in a while. It is also, I felt like, the first time that they kind of recaptured Blair's, as I said earlier, season 1 scheming. And season 1 Blair's vitriol and her attitude that she hasn't been the out to get you schemer that she was last season. So I actually really liked a lot of the writing and a lot of how this played out with this plotline, even though it was a terrible move for Blair.
Spotted. B, hot for teacher. Too bad Miss Carr doesn't remember the devil's in the details. We move into Act 3. At the opera, Rufus and Lily are talking to Dan and Serena about visiting Brown and Yale in the fall. Lily nods to Chuck across the lobby.
Rufus and Lily, tone it down. Like, you are in public. You are not teenagers. Just turn it down a bit.
I thought Matt Settle's acting was horrible in this episode.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Last episode, too, because he really tried to push the broodiness in the last episode. And then in this episode, he tried to really push the juxtaposition of that.
Dan runs off to talk to Nate and Vanessa because his conversation with Lily and Rufus went from family ties to Faulkner in one cocktail flat. Dan sticks his foot in his mouth, and Nate is forced to admit that he had better tickets available.
Yeah, fix your face, Vanessa. Fix your face. He didn't tell you until now, but don't roll your eyes at him because he has these tickets. Fix your fucking face.
And of course, classic Dan just sticking his foot in his mouth.
Yeah, classic Dan, especially to Nate, that he'll always say that thing that he shouldn't say. It was great. Because it's so innocent. Because why? Oh, yeah, you're going to enjoy that. You know, it's such an innocent thing. He had no way of knowing.
Yeah. And he's just trying to be a bro, and he's just not used to being a bro.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I have a friend.
Rufus and Lily meet up with Jack and the publicist we met in season 1, episode 7. So nice continuity there. Jack is as creepy as ever, and it's revealed that Eric misread the opera calendar.
Yeah, that interaction, the writing on that. I love that they sent the PR lady to babysit Jack. This episode had so many little one-shot cameos like that. And I loved that they sent this person to babysit Jack. I thought that was great.
Bruce Kaplan, the Bass family lawyer and business manager, comes up to Lily and mentions some documents he has been working on. This gives Lily a light bulb moment.
I loved this too. The way that he comes up, and I'm so sorry for your loss, and I'm so sorry for everything that happened. That,
and Lily's like, oh, that? Yeah.
Yeah. and that moment of, especially for how Rufus kind of reacts, like, ugh. Yeah, I really liked I liked that they forced that interaction to Lily, that she is having to face that people are still coming up to her, consoling her for someone she's not really sad is dead.
Lily goes over to Chuck and tells him to meet her back in the lobby in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So I'm not just a setup scene there.
Yeah.
Vanessa is being a little stubborn about the seats, but Nate starts cracking up when a couple of Golden Girls sit down next to them, and one starts coughing and wheezing.
Fix your face, Nate, because when Nate starts saying like, oh, if we were down there, and Vanessa pushes back, and then Nate gives the eye roll. And it's like, calm down, Nate. You agreed to this. But I also loved the resolution of it, of this lady just coughing and coughing, and Nate just cracking up until they go. I thought it was cute. I loved seeing Nate happy this whole episode, and Vanessa. But I really liked seeing Nate happy.
But very boring.
Yeah, but Nate's boring. Nate's kind of boring.
Dan finds Serena in the lobby and tells her that it's not that she wants to go to a different school that upsets him. It's the fact that she told him for months that going to Yale together is what she wanted. Serena and Dan admit that staying together is going to be tough with seemingly the whole world against them, but they decide to fight through it.
I was so irked by this. Serena's right that you don't have to make any decisions now, but that was the wrong answer in the moment. Because just date each other until you go to school. And then if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. If the parent thing gets in the way, then you stop. But for right now, Serena's right. Just see where it goes. And there's also, this moment really reveals, there's this dramatic irony where we as an audience know that Lily and Rufus are really like the love of each other's lives for decades, that this has been playing out, that they have loved each other for as long as they've known each other. And Dan and Serena are like, it might not work. We don't know how this is going to go. This is probably going to peter out anyway. Because we've seen over and over that Dan and Serena don't really know the magnitude of the Rufus-Lily history, I feel. And I like that. I like that they're just like kids that don't grasp the severity of their parents' lives.
I'm going to fight back on you on that one. And I say they actually do get it, but that they're the same thing. And Rufus and Lily, just like Dan and Serena, constantly break up and get back together.
That's fair too. Well, and especially that's what the kids are seeing.
Yeah.
The reason I said that they don't really grasp it is because of the number of times that Dan in the past has also been like, oh yeah, that's right, you know her. Oh yeah, that's right. Didn't you guys date or something?
I think that's just Dan being willfully ignorant because he doesn't want to think about that because he wants to have sex with his girlfriend.
Without thinking about their shared sibling?
Yeah.
Sure, I would want that too.
Dan and Serena catch Rufus and Lily making out on their way to their seats. More awkwardness. And then Lily gets the papers from Bruce Kaplan.
You belong in our world. That's the only one that matters. That was very sweet, Lily.
Blair is entering the opera with her father and gets a call from Queller who states that she can still end Miss Carr's class with an A average. Blair decides that she has to cancel the sabotage and runs out of the opera.
Yeah, too late, Blair. Too late.
And so I think we've already talked a little about the relative wealth of the different families, but I think this was another scene showing that.
Where Blair was in regular seats.
Yeah.
She wasn't in a box.
Yeah, the other three families all have boxes.
Yeah, that's a real... I did not really catch up on that. They were mezzanine. They weren't...
Yeah, they weren't
nosebleeds. They were nice seats. Or actually, they were pit, right? Or not pit, but I think they may have been orchestra seats.
Yeah, but they didn't have their own private box.
Yeah.
Bruce Kaplan and Lily find Chuck in the lobby and present him with adoption papers that Lily and Bart had been preparing before Bart's death. If Lily and Chuck sign the papers, then Lily will be Chuck's guardian and not Jack.
My favorite part of this scene, it is the only Chuck and Blair scene when you see Blair run behind Chuck.
And there's got to be some symbolism, and I feel like that was copying from something else. So I feel like I've seen that before.
Yes, I feel like I have. The message I got from it is we have been so focused on these two characters getting together for 16 episodes now, 15 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And so they really wanted to point out these two characters are not interacting in this episode. And the best way to show it is to set Chuck there and have her run behind, and then you go, wow.
Neither of them saw each other.
And that's the first scene they've had together all episode. So it really, I felt, put a huge barrier at the end of the last episode. So anything else going forward with Chuck and Blair, on the other side of that run through, we do know that this episode, there was a wall between them. And I really liked that it was not the Chuck and Blair show. And in case anyone didn't notice, they forced you to notice by having Blair run behind. That was why I loved. It was the shortest thing, but I loved that moment. Oh, also, Lily is brilliant.
Sticks and stones may break bones, but a poison pen is the best revenge. We move into another commercial break, and then we come back. Blair finds Miss Carr and sort of tries to apologize. Miss Carr says she accepts the apology, but declines the opera invitation. As Blair gets back into her town car, Miss Carr calls Queller.
I had mad respect for Carr in this scene. I accept your apology. I'm not taking anything from you. I shouldn't have fallen for this in the first place. Goodbye. Yeah, this little shit. Absolutely. All of it.
Yeah.
Miss Carr, you handled that well. As a rookie teacher.
She does, yes. It seems like she does well with the female students, but I'm not sure her interactions with the male students are very appropriate.
Not appropriate, but I think she's going to do really well with them.
She's going to be popular, at least.
She'll be popular, at least.
Nate and Vanessa are sitting in the box seats and then begin to make out. More cute, boring scenes from them.
Yeah, I'm glad they had it. I was glad.
Then the episode takes a turn as a coked-up Jack bursts in on Lily in the bathroom.
Robin's note here. It is intermission. How is Lily the only woman in the bathroom at intermission? That gigantic bathroom.
Yeah.
No other women beat her there. Or while she was in there, all the time she was in that room, no other women came in before Jack.
Dan and Rufus are talking about the superficiality of society people and then mention they haven't seen Lily all intermission. Dan asks Chuck if he's seen Lily. He mentions that Lily went to the powder room and notices that a line is forming.
And again, just setting that whole thing up.
Mm-hmm. Jack takes creepy to the next level and starts getting physical with Lily. Things are looking pretty grim when Chuck bursts in and punches Jack. Lily thanks Chuck as a concerned Rufus comes in late and escorts Lily out.
This was intense.
Yeah, it was very... Also, I think this is where the editing was really kind of weird because it looked like out of order.
Yeah. Yes. It was cut weird. And there were some shots that I felt were supposed to make us... There's only so much they can actually show on a network television show, but some of them I felt like they showed us nothing by trying to show us more. I was squirming. I'm sure I
was very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I live react video. I haven't watched it back yet, but I know I was squirming when I was watching that. It was really intense.
This is also where Matthew Settle's acting was really bad.
Yeah.
When he comes in at the end and he's like, what's going on?
Yeah. Oh.
We move into the epilogue. Back home the next day, Lily and Rufus are joking over an article titled Bass Exit to Brooklyn. Chuck comes up the elevator. Rufus exits, giving Chuck a handshake. Lily tells Chuck that the company is his on his 18th birthday, and she wants Chuck as part of her family. Chuck agrees to move back in.
The handshake, I really dug.
Yeah.
When Rufus walked up and just stops and shakes his hand and walks out. And like...
He knows Chuck doesn't really like him, but he's got to give him his little respect.
Yeah. There was so much said in that scene that I really liked. And it was really sweet for Chuck to want to move back in.
Yeah.
For the first time, it seemed like Chuck was doing something that wasn't a scheme, too.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it is, but it didn't feel like it.
Blair and Serena are on the phone teasing each other. Blair has a meeting with Queller this morning.
I really liked the interaction, the classic Serena-Blair phone call banter. Loved it. I don't think that you're going to enjoy this conversation, Blair.
Serena then calls Dan, who ignores the call. Miss Carr shows up at the Brooklyn Gallery and oddly tells Dan to call her Rachel.
Yo, what the fuck? What the fuck is this teacher doing?
Yeah.
Seeking out a student.
So weird.
Yeah. You've been working there for like a week. And you're seeking out a student that you met once in passing that said that you should go to Brooklyn?
Showing up at his dad's gallery.
Yeah.
And then tell her to call by her first name.
And yes, That is
Like,
such
yeah, Dan is like
a
very,
line.
Very appropriate. He's like Miss Carr, and then she's like, "Oh, call me Rachel."
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Why would you do that if you're not trying to establish a beyond student-teacher relationship in your first week of school? I cannot imagine any teacher anywhere, walking in their first week of school and being like, yeah, I could hit that. And I even mean disgusting fucking teachers that end up doing that. I guarantee none of them in their first week of school met a kid and was like, that's the one for me.
Yeah. Even just going to meet a student alone outside of school is weird.
Is super weird. I have had moments where stuff like that has happened, and immediately it is, I look to make sure I am not alone. I make sure that there are witnesses around. I make sure that there's more. If I used to have students show up at my door when I lived in California, and it would be, they never crossed the threshold of my house. It would be like, hey, can we borrow some guitar cables? Here, boom, go, get away. Between the hour after 3:00, we cannot have a relationship then.
Blair is meeting with Queller, who reveals that Miss Carr told her about the hazing. Blair is put on detention. Yale has been notified, and her acceptance put on hold. Wow, that all happened pretty fast.
Yeah. And is Blair on a leash now? It seems like Blair is on a little bit of a leash, which, that's interesting.
It's crazy that Queller has that much power, too.
I'm thinking a super prestigious school like that sends a couple students every year to Yale, that Yale probably has that kind of, I think that could make sense. I think that a blemish on a record could, if you're on a wait list and then you're just accepted, I could see a big enough blemish being...
Well, yeah, that could get you kicked out, but that's not, the fact that it's on hold for,
right,
for Queller to say yes or no.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Okay. That point, yes.
If you complete the detention to my satisfaction, Yale can still be possible.
Yes. Which I do agree that is a stretch. Although I also would think that in the Gossip Girl universe, or in any, I guess even in ours, Queller could have a relationship with a dean at a high level place in there. If Queller's an alum or something like that. Or that, she is a headmistress of a prestigious school, probably talks to a lot of colleges regularly. It's a stretch. I'm willing to forgive the suspension of disbelief on this one.
It just feels like the school would ask, like, why are we putting this on hold? And then when they find out, like, they would just say, no, she's out.
Yeah, I agree. Which is, I like that the universe of Gossip Girl has established that Queller has this power. I kind of like that.
Blair exits the office where Dorota is waiting with the bulldog Harold bought for Blair, but Blair says it's time for war.
Uh-oh. Is it war?
Yes. Going Black Ops.
I love that Dorota's like, oh boy.
More work for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to be digging through some teacher's garbage can or something like that.
Exactly.
And we end with a narration from Gossip Girl. The thing about new beginnings is that it requires something else to end. Some endings take a long time to reveal themselves, but when they do, they're almost too easy to ignore. Some beginnings start so quietly, you don't even notice they're happening. But most endings come when you least expect them. And what they pretend is darker than you have ever imagined. Not all beginnings are a cause for celebration. A lot of bad things begin. Fights, lose season, and the worst thing of all, to be starting something. XOXO Gossip Girl.
Yeah, that's our episode.
And then another reference that the target audience might not get, the want to be starting something.
Yeah.
So, predictions?
Dan Carr. The Rachel Dan thing is a big prediction. That is going to happen while Blair is looking into Carr, so that's going to be a thing. Yeah, so I think Dan and Serena are pretty much done again. And I don't think it's the last time, because I'm sure they get back together again at some point. Like, it just feels like that's how this is going to go. Maybe not this year, maybe not until next year. But like the Vulture report said, like, they're just going to all go to different schools next year? Like, come on.
Where are they going to go, though?
I mean, I was kind of figuring Yale. Where did they shoot? They shot it at Columbia, right?
Yeah.
Because Blair's only applied to Yale. So I've kind of assumed that they would all.
That means leaving New York.
What?
That means leaving New York.
Oh, they wouldn't go to NYU. Columbia's in New York, so it makes a lot of sense. In Harlem. Oh, so it's not on the Upper East Side though.
I don't think there are any colleges on the Upper East Side.
Oh, I thought NYU had, but they wouldn't. Yeah. Huh. I didn't think that far ahead. Well, we're going to learn about what college they're all going to go to. That's my other prediction.
Maybe they'll just all get jobs and skip college.
Yeah, they're all going to work for Chuck. They're going to be the new board.
That is our episode, so let's get into some segments. This week in fandom, we jumped into the Wayback Machine to go to the Television Without Pity forums.
Hello there, Peabody here. And this is the Wayback Machine for traveling through time. And this is my boy, Sherman. Speak, Sherman. Hello. Good boy.
Eric is hilarious. Agreed. And then, why did Blair only apply to one school?
Yeah.
Stupid. At least apply to the other Holy Trinity schools.
Yeah.
Kelly is noticeably pregnant.
Is she? I wasn't paying enough attention. I didn't notice it.
A few people were curious if there was symbology with the scene of Blair running through the lobby while Chuck is drinking and neither see each other.
Yeah, like I said, my guess is that they wanted to really emphasize that the two of them had no interaction.
Yeah. But again, I just feel like I've seen that scene somewhere, that same scene. So hopefully someone can write in and let us know. Lily was being shitty to her bio kids and Bart's memory.
Yeah.
She was good to Chuck, but yeah, having sex in front of their kids and basically.
Well, I mean, that's true to form. Lily has always been a better parent to everyone other than her kids.
Yeah. Well, that's it for This Week in Fandom. So let's go ahead and move into episode grades. I did not like the writing as much as you in this episode, and largely because so many of the main cast were just not really doing anything. I have a lot of neutrals in stock watch.
Oh. Okay.
So I think they needed to get the main cast more involved.
That's fair.
So I ended up with a C+.
Wow. This is probably our biggest juxtaposition because I gave this one an A-. I really did enjoy a lot of the writing. I see your point for sure about the main cast. I feel like the main cast wasn't interacting with each other.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like some of that was by design to try to I felt like it was a shake-up episode a bit, which is also, I liked that. I liked that it was different from a lot of the other formula. I didn't like the A-. The minus comes from the really weird Rachel Carr decisions of having her come to a new school and start flirting with students immediately.
Yeah. We'll move into stock watch. As I mentioned, a lot of the characters got neutral. Serena, Nate and Vanessa, Lily, all neutral.
Oh, see, I gave a lot of them ups or downs.
For me, going up, I had Dan because he got into Yale. Chuck because he seems to want against Jack. I gave Rufus up. Now I'm kind of forgetting why I did. But I guess because he's just getting laid and being Rufus and getting laid. And I had Eric going up because he was just funny this episode.
I actually gave Nate and Vanessa an up for finally having a full episode where they were on a date and had nice things happen for them. I had Lily and Rufus going up. Lily, because she's now in charge of Bass Industries. She worked out this scheme with Chuck and she was a good mom to Chuck today. So I did have her and Rufus going up. Rufus because he's, again, like in a winning relationship now. Chuck was going up because for obvious reasons, Chuck won over Jack. I had Eric and I had Headmistress Queller going up.
Yeah, the reason why I didn't have Lily going up is because she was a horrible parent to her actual kids, and also just her whole reaction to the Jack thing. Like, why wouldn't you turn him in? And why let him go back to Australia?
Yeah, I feel like that is really the show morality even more. I feel like that's the show. Because they do that over and over. They just, oh yeah, he tried to sexually assault me, but I just want him to leave me alone now. They treat it like it's not criminal on this show, which is one of my big hangups about Gossip Girl.
Going down, I had Blair, because she lost Yale, Miss Carr, because she's creepy, and Jack for the same reason.
I had Blair going down. I originally had Serena and Dan going down. I'm just going to make Serena. Dan got into Yale, so I'm keeping him neutral. But Serena also seems to be losing Dan. So I had Jack going down because Jack sucks. I kept Carr at neutral because Carr was like winning in a way at the end, but she's creepy as fuck. So I felt like her weirdness balanced out.
Let's go ahead and move into best outfit.
But here's the best outfits from the last episode we've seen.
For me, I had Lily's purple dress with the black straps that she wore to the opera. It was by Max Azaria.
I almost picked that one. My first watch through, that's what it was. But my second watch through, I decided on Blair's black and white coat. That winter coat.
I did like that coat.
Yeah, I liked like the square pattern on it, and I really like that coat.
And an honorable mention to Serena's opera dress because she always rocks the yellow or gold.
Yeah, she does.
So that is it for segments. You got anything to plug this week?
I do. If you are listening to this right now, on the day it came out, or before Thursday, this Thursday at 6 p.m., December 5th, I will be playing at the Christmas Village at Love Park in Philadelphia. Come on out. I'll be playing some Christmas songs, some rock songs, some original songs, all on the ukulele, and you can come and join the fun.
For me, I am going to plug Helldivers 2, which I'm a little bit late to the party as usual, but it's a really fun game. It's kind of basically ripping off the movie Starship Troopers, and it's co-op, 4-player co-op, and you fight some bugs or robots.
Dave plays that, right? I think Dave is really into that. Our friend Dave Siegel.
And if you want to play with me, you can find me on Instagram at Hot Capicola, and you can follow the podcast on all the social medias at Non-Judging Breakfast Pod. And that's on Threads, Instagram, TikTok.
And if you want to get in touch with the pod, please feel free to send us an email at nonjudgingbreakfastpod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your thoughts, read what you have to say on air, and continue the conversation. Also, please visit our website, nonjudgingbreakfastpod.com. Through there are links to our Patreon, as we discussed earlier. And you can join our Discord, again, to keep this conversation going. And also, please, if you're listening now, tell your friends what you're listening to. Like, follow, subscribe, share. The comments really help our visibility on Apple Podcasts. So please be involved and let us know what you think.
And we will be back next week to talk about Season 2, Episode 17, titled Carnal Knowledge.
Is that spelled C-A-R-R?
No, just no.
Okay. Because that would have been, I was
a little on the nose.
It would have been a little on the nose.
The Netflix episode description reads, Blair comes up with a plan to get revenge on her teacher. Chuck wakes up in a hotel and tries to piece together what happened the night before.
Oh, interesting. Especially after Chuck is just having...
Not interesting.
Not interesting.
This is one of the most reviled stories in fandom because, yeah, Chuck just goes off on his own for 2 episodes and tries to solve some eyes wide shut type mystery.
They're really, really trying to show
that Chuck can do something other than Blair.
Yeah.
And it never works.
Yeah.
He just can't carry a storyline himself.
Robin asked, why does he always talk like Batman? I'm like, so that you don't know he's British.
Oh, until next time, you know you love us.
XOXO.
Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Oh, it seems I'm walking right to your door. My heart's still resting, looking for something more. gonna see everything you mean to me? I'm trying really hard to believe. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Never feels right when I'm out here on my own. I left last night and it feels like way too long. Are you ever gonna see everything you mean to me? I'm trying really hard to believe. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Come back to me. Smile and you'll make my life complete. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there.